Most men believe they already know how to take care of their health. Drink more water, eat reasonably well, get some rest. Simple rules we've heard for decades. But here's the quiet truth no one talks about after 50 or 60. Those rules stop working the same way. You can drink water all day and still wake up tired. You can do everything right and yet feel weaker, slower, and less sharp than you used to. And over time, many men start to assume this is just aging, something to accept, not question. In this video, we're going to slow things down and look at what's actually happening inside the aging male body, especially why hydration, energy, and vitality change with time. Not with hype, not with promises, just clear explanations and practical insights you can think about for yourself. Let's begin. Most men don't think they have a hydration problem. They think they have a discipline problem. I drink enough water, they'll say. A few glasses in the morning, a bottle during the day, maybe another one at night. On paper, it looks fine. But then come the small signals. Waking up already tired, dry mouth in the morning, heavy legs in the afternoon, needing more coffee just to feel normal. So men respond the only way they know how, by drinking more water. And when that doesn't work, they blame age. This is where the misunderstanding begins. After a certain point in life, water alone stops doing the job we expect it to do. Not because water is bad, but because the body has changed. The way it holds fluid, the way it moves energy, the way it recovers overnight. What once felt automatic now requires intention. And without realizing it, many men are simply pouring water into a system that no longer knows how to use it efficiently. This isn't about fear, and it's not about fighting age. It's about understanding that the rules quietly shift and that clarity, not effort, is what restores balance. After the age of 50, the body no longer feels thirst in the familiar way. The feeling of thirst gradually fades, not because the body has enough water, but because the signal itself has weakened. Many men only drink when their throat feels completely dry. By that point, the body is already one step behind. Not only that, the body also stops holding water the way it used to. Water goes in, then leaves quickly. After drinking, you still feel dry, still tired, still carrying a vague but persistent sense of low vitality. In the morning, you wake up, but your mind isn't fully clear. Around midday, your energy drops easily. By the afternoon, your body feels heavy, your movements slow, your legs tired, and all you want is to sit still. The most uncomfortable part is how quietly these feelings arrive. No sharp pain, no clear warning signs, just a sense that the body no longer runs as smoothly as it once did. And because nothing feels specific or alarming, many men choose to ignore it. They assume it's just a normal part of aging, that everyone goes through this. But the truth is, the body doesn't slow down simply because of passing years. It slows down because the internal connections are no longer being properly nourished. Understanding this is the first step toward taking control again, not by pushing harder, but by learning to listen to your body in a new way. The problem lies here. Many men drink a lot of water, but that water doesn't truly stay in the body. Over time, the sense of thirst is no longer as accurate as it once was. The body is dehydrated, but it doesn't speak up clearly. You don't feel thirsty yet, inside dryness has already begun. And when the signal finally arrives, it is often one step too late. At the same time, the body's ability to absorb and balance water also changes. Water enters the body, but it isn't distributed evenly. A large portion is flushed out quickly, instead of being retained to nourish each cell. What many people don't realize is, these cells don't hold water just because you drink water. They need a kind of pulling force to keep water inside. When that force weakens, water simply passes through, never staying long enough to do its job. The results feel very familiar. Ongoing fatigue even when you sleep enough. A slower mind, trouble focusing, forgetting small things easily, dry, rough skin with less elasticity, stiff joints, especially in the morning, and a sense that circulation no longer flows smoothly through the body. This is not a sign of getting old and weak. It is a signal that the body is lacking the right kind of support at a deeper level. When people talk about dehydration, most think it simply means not drinking enough water. But in reality, dehydration goes much deeper than that. It is a problem of circulation. When cells can no longer hold on to water, everything inside the body begins to slow down. The blood becomes thicker. Flow is no longer smooth as it once was. And when blood flow slows, the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to vital organs is clearly reduced. The heart has to work harder just to maintain a normal rhythm. The brain is no longer fully nourished, leading to a heavy head, slower thinking, and reduced mental clarity. Daily energy doesn't collapse all at once. It fades little by little, just enough for you to feel that you're no longer as switched on as before. For men, this change also affects vitality. Not because of willpower, not because of desire, but because the internal flow is no longer as strong and steady as it once was. If you recognize yourself in what was just described, subscribe to the channel to continue following content created specifically for men over 50. And comment number 1 below so I know you're listening and walking this path together with the channel. Once you understand that water is only part of the story, the next question becomes very clear. So what actually helps water stay in the body and do its job? The answer lies in a group of foundational minerals that many men over 50 are lacking often without realizing it. The first is magnesium, the mineral of relaxation. It helps blood vessels widen, muscles loosen, and internal flow become smoother. When magnesium levels are sufficient, circulation feels easier, sleep becomes deeper, and energy stays more stable. But after 50, magnesium deficiency is very common, and it often shows up as unstable blood pressure, shallow sleep, and fatigue that's hard to explain. Next comes natural sodium, the gatekeeper of the cell. Not refined salt, but unprocessed natural forms of sodium. It helps water move into the cells instead of passing straight through and being flushed out. When natural sodium is lacking, you can drink a lot of water and still feel thirsty, still feel tired. To keep balance, the body also needs potassium. This mineral stabilizes the electrical balance between sodium and potassium, helping the heart rhythm stay steady, blood vessels relax, and water remain where it's needed. Potassium deficiency is very common in older adults, and it throws the entire system out of balance. Finally, there is zinc, a mineral closely linked to male hormones and vitality. Zinc supports motivation, recovery, and internal stability in men. When zinc is low, many men feel mentally low, recover more slowly, and notice their vitality isn't what it used to be. After 50, zinc in liquid form is often easier to absorb and gentler on the body. These 4 minerals don't create instant strength, but they form the foundation that allows water, energy, and vitality to return to the body's natural rhythm. Once you understand what the body actually needs, the next important question is, how do you start without turning everything into a complicated routine? The good news is you don't need an elaborate plan or major lifestyle changes. Just 3 small steps each day at the right times are enough to help the body gradually return to its natural rhythm. In the morning, right after waking up, start with a glass of warm water. Add magnesium and a small pinch of unrefined natural salt. This isn't meant to stimulate, it's meant to open circulation. After a long night, the body's flow is still slow. This combination gently relaxes blood vessels and helps the body wake up smoothly without stress or shock. At midday, when energy is being used more actively, drink water with liquid zinc. This is a time when the body absorbs it well without making you sleepy or heavy. Zinc supports male hormones, helps keep the immune system steady, and prevents energy from dropping too quickly in the afternoon. In the evening, before resting, return to water with potassium, ideally in a low-sugar or sugar-free electrolyte form. Potassium helps balance heart rhythm, relax blood vessels, and sends a signal to the body that it's time to slow down. As a result, sleep becomes deeper and nighttime recovery more complete. These 3 steps won't create overnight miracles, but when done consistently, the body begins to respond gently, sustainably, and in a very real way. When the body begins to receive what it truly needs, the response doesn't come in a loud or dramatic way. There's no sudden surge or explosive change. Instead, the signs are very ordinary, but clear enough to let you know that things are moving in the right direction. In the first week, many people notice that mornings become easier. The body feels lighter upon waking. Internal dryness begins to fade. The mind feels clearer with less of that lingering fog or grogginess after sleep. These changes are subtle but meaningful because they appear early. By the second week, energy starts to feel more stable throughout the day. The afternoon no longer crashes the way it used to. You still work, you still move through daily life, but with less of that drained, emptied feeling halfway through the day. The body no longer has to push itself just to keep up. By the third week, many people clearly feel the difference at night. Sleep becomes deeper and less interrupted. The sense of recovery after a long day becomes more noticeable. Internal flow feels lighter, warmer, and more even. Vitality doesn't return in a loud way, it comes back as something steady, familiar, and reassuring, like the way the body used to feel when it was running on its natural rhythm. This isn't a miracle. It's what happens when the body is finally supported in the right way. Aging is not a sudden collapse. Most of what we call getting old is actually a gradual depletion. A depletion of minerals, a depletion of signals between cells, a depletion of the body's internal communication quietly without anyone noticing. Over time, the body doesn't break down. It simply lacks the raw materials needed to run smoothly. As minerals decline, electrical signals weaken, and systems stop working in harmony. The heart has to work harder. The brain uses more energy just to stay alert. Muscles and blood vessels become tight instead of flexible. We call this aging, but in truth, it is a loss of connection. When you begin restoring those connections, something interesting happens. The body doesn't need to be forced. It starts to self-correct. Heart rhythm becomes more stable. Breathing grows deeper and more even. Sleep comes more naturally without effort. Stability doesn't return in a loud way. It shows up as a quiet sense of safety within your own body. You no longer have to constantly hold yourself together through the day. Things begin to move smoothly again, light, balanced, and in tune with the body's natural rhythm. This isn't about becoming young again. It's about returning to the state of balance the body has always been seeking. When you truly understand hydration, one important truth becomes clear. Water is not just for quenching thirst. When combined with the right minerals, water becomes a biological signal sent throughout the entire body. A signal that says it's time to relax. It's time for smoother circulation. It's time to recover properly. You don't need to chase youth. You don't need to force your body to be strong like it once was. You simply need to help your body return to its natural biological rhythm where all systems work together in harmony gently and steadily. When water is activated by minerals, every sip you take is no longer a mindless habit. It becomes a conscious act of care, a small step repeated daily that is powerful enough to create lasting change over time. If this content has helped you see water and health after 50 inches a new way, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos on hydration, vitality, and healthy rhythms for men. And in the comments, leave number 1 if you're ready to upgrade your first glass of water starting tomorrow. We're not trying to turn back time. We're simply learning how to care for the body the way it was designed to be cared for.